Hello everyone, this is Endgame Art with another boxing to break down another demo. This is Need for Speed Most Wanted, the Platinum Hits for the Xbox 360. To start things right off, there were no updates available since the making of this video. I tried to double check, there were no updates, and I just recently bought this, so it's really odd to pop in a brand new game like this and it had no updates. Now, if you want to install the game onto your Xbox 360, it will take up 6.7 gigabytes. Remember though, the installment to fully install the game is optional, and all games are not best compatible for a full install, so bear that in mind. But most games, it just helps it run better and faster and just helps with load times. But as I was saying about updates, the reason why this game may not have any updates is that it's easily to be forgotten that Need for Speed Most Wanted was one of the early first releases for the Xbox 360, and as well as it was also the only version of it to be in HD, as Need for Speed Most Wanted originally also released it on the PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3 wasn't even available when this game came out. So for a lot of collectors in terms of racing games as well as the Need for Speed games, Need for Speed Most Wanted is one of the higher sought after ones due to the fact that it's the only version that's fully in HD. Now, I have played the original back on the PlayStation 2 and so forth, so I already have quite fond memories of it. But this was actually the first time I actually played it on the 360, and to experience the game in HD is a must desire. It is highly improves the game's presentation a great deal. Now, this does not come with the Black Edition, which the PlayStation 2 version did have, which just comes with a couple extra cars, but you can't use them in the campaign. You can only use them in quick races and just arcade mode, if you will. But the Need for Speed for the Xbox 360 version, of course, is in HD, and it pretty much comes with the overall same experience. So, if you're wanting my opinion on which one to pick up, I definitely would recommend a 360 version, just due to the fact of the HD. But more onto the game, this was, to some, I may argue with it and everything like that, but to me, Need for Speed Most Wanted was the last very good, well-made Need for Speed game from EA. This is before they, of course, updates, and before EA went full tyrant on DLC, redeem codes, and microtransactions. So the experience of game that's from EA, as well as Need for Speed, to be so pure and innocent is quite charming, and brings you back to the good old days, if you want to use those words. But Need for Speed Most Wanted was a little bit dumbed down compared to its original Need for Speeds in terms of its customization. You don't have as deep as car customization like the original Underground games had, where you can do each bumper, side skirts, and rear bumper, as well as roof scops and all that other stuff. This one only really comes with body kits, which to me, I wasn't going to argue with it. It looked good, it made the game a little bit more quicker and streamlined, so you didn't spend too much time with the customization, but back on the road. What made Most Wanted also was really good was its police cop chases. Now this is the highlight of the game, in my opinion. The cop chases are very well done. They're tense, as well as the listen to the broadcasting of them chasing after you is just thrilling. It just really pumps you up. The career mode is you chase after the blacklists, as well as you try to regain your reputation back into the #1 racer on the streets. Now, the game is, like I said, it plays your typical one, where you have an open world and you can pick a race, and then you try to go up in the ranks. I mean, nothing really unique and special, but what made the game also was really nice for me is that you do not have to drive around in the open world. You can immediately jump to the races without having to drive around in this open world. Even if you need to do the milestones in terms of police chases, you can just immediately push a button, immediately get into a cop chase. That's very nice, it's really fun, and makes it quick and more rewarding for your time, and not feel like you're wasting your time trying to race to the next check race moment or trying to find a cop to chase you. You can just initiate it immediately, which is something a lot of games nowadays really need. I'm not a big fan of open world driving. I'm not a fan of open world games, period. So it's nice to play a game that has an open world but does not force the open world onto you. Oddly though, the Need for Speed Most Wanted does not have a map, so it's kind of weird to have an open world with no way to look at the full scale of the map in terms of when you're on the racing around or just exploring its world, which is kind of weird. Computer AI can be a little challenging here and there. It depends on the track. There still has a typical rubber band effect that's quite notorious for the Need for Speed games, where the game, if the AI is ahead of you, they will slow down. If they're behind you, they'll somehow speed up. It's just that rubber band effect. It keeps a constant challenge. But the game also has the atrocious traffic, which the Underground and Need for Speed Most Wanted are notorious for having some struggling traffic moments. But Need for Speed Most Wanted also introduced the slow time mode, where you can push a button to slow down time to be able to swerve or get out around a turn or look out for an obstacle. I barely ever used it, but it is an option, and it might be just more my fault of constantly forgetting about it, that it's a function and you can be used, so don't forget about it. As well as the nitrous in the game constantly recharges as long as you're moving, so a few people might find that more nicer compared to the original First Underground, where you didn't have recharging nitrous. But as I said, the main highlight of the game is the cop chases. It's very challenging and it's very rewarding when you'll be able to keep on the chase but yet keep it going, but also trying to avoid being busted. The AI is very well done. They're really challenging. I love their broadcasts. They'll even announce the color of your car, what you're driving, the location and so forth, and the things you do. It's very well done, and it's one of the most charming parts about the game. For anybody who's a fan of arcade racers or the Need for Speed series, Need for Speed Most Wanted, especially on the Xbox 360, is a must-needed. I have to say, I highly recommend it. It was one of the funnest games in terms of arcade and its time. One of the weird things about its campaign mode and its blacklist mode, though, is that when you complete a blacklist, a character, you can unlock a special engine part, a special body kit, or a special random token, which will give you either money, a pink slip, or get out of jail for free, so on and so forth. What I didn't like about it was that it's random, and then the engine parts, the only one you would engine upgrade is the only one you would really spend one of your tokens on for, because it's the only one that's actually special, and the random chance of getting the pink slip is all random. So I wasn't a big fan of this random chance, and it's just up in the air what you'll get. It's the only two I recommend if you ever spend your tokens on, is your an engine upgrade or the random chance of getting the pink slip. Getting out of jail can be pretty good for free as well, in case you do get busted a lot. But I'm not a big fan of the randomness of it. But again, what makes Need for Speed Most Wanted is the fact that it has no microtransactions. There really is no updates. There's hardly any DLC. This is before the whole game started getting released in beta forms, and everybody's trying to find some way, especially EA, to skim some money off of you in the cheapest ways possible. So it's fun to play an original Need for Speed game without all that hoopla in it. And it's one of those lanes I say you should try to look into adding your collection, especially the 360 version. The 360 version is a little bit sought after, so it's a little bit more expensive than the PS2 version, but the HD graphics and so forth was really nice, as well as the soundtracks were very well done with it as well. Sadly, I had to turn off the soundtrack as there's a lot of copyrighted music, so sorry if you can't hear that, but just because I had to disable it. But I will try to leave links on the description if you're instant copy, which I highly recommend. It's one of the best, or even some could even say the last very good Need for Speed game from EA. So thank you all for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me. And I'll see you guys in my next unboxing videos. Bye-bye!